Hi, welcome to my channel and welcome to another species spotlight. Today's spotlight is going to be about the lorikeet. Did you know that there are over 55 species of lories and lorikeets and many subspecies? There are over 22 subspecies of the rainbow lorikeet. One of them is the Swainson's lorikeet. Now this lorikeet I saw at the Bird Kingdom in Niagara Falls, Canada. The rainbow lorikeet is one of the most popular pet lorikeets. Here are some rainbow lorikeets that I saw at the Bird Kingdom. They live in a big, huge aviary and it's a walk-in. It's open to the public and the public goes in there. You can go in there and you can buy some nectar. You hold it in your hand. All the lorikeets will come and land on you and eat the nectar. I went in there. It was a lot of fun. But these are them on a break eating some specialized food. I'm not sure what they're eating at the moment because they do get nectar from the public. So it could be fruits and stuff in there. So these are a flock of rainbow lorikeets at the Bird Kingdom. The second most popular lorikeet is the red lorikeet. Now I saw this red lorikeet at my local pet store. Isn't he cute? So beautiful, nice and red. He was just a baby. I saw him there several times as I visited and then he got a home. Some other species include the black lory, the chattering lory, the scaly-breasted lory, the musk, black-capped lorikeet, and the Goldie's lorikeet, like Dazzle here, and many more. Now the only difference between lories and lorikeets are that the lories have a shorter tail that's either rounded or squared off at the end, and lorikeets have a longer, pointier tail, and some of the lories are bigger than the lorikeets. Lorikeets are among the most colorful parrot species, and they have a unique brush-like tongue. They have a brush on the end of their tongue so that they can collect pollen and nectar from flowers because they're more of a nectar-eating bird than a seed-eating bird. They eat pollen, nectar, and insects and fruits, and they take a lot of soft fruits. Lories and lorikeets are native to New Guinea, Indonesia, Australia, and various islands on the South Pacific. They are strictly arboreal, which means they live in the trees, and they can be found in forest, mangroves, and eucalyptus groves. The smallest lorikeet is called a little lorikeet. They're just a little bit smaller than Dazzle here. Dazzle is in the group of the smallest lorikeets, along with the musk lorikeet and the varied lorikeet. Lorikeets are clowns of the bird world. They are mischievous, curious, and exhibit unique behaviors. They can play or sleep on their backs and are very acrobatic. They are not shy, but more bubbly, playful, and intense. They can also learn to mimic the human speech and say a few words or many words. Lories and lorikeets are prone to iron storage disease. It's a metabolic disorder that causes a large amount of iron to accumulate in the body tissue, which can be fatal. So lories and lorikeets have to be fed low iron foods. Iron storage disease can be diet related or from genetics. They also are prone to bacterial or fungus infections due to their food being spoiled. So this is Dazzle, my Goldie's lorikeet. He's a male. He's 5 years old. He's around 50 grams. He's pretty small, and he's about 5 to 7 inches in length. And he's mostly green in color with yellowish greenish stripes on his chest, a red and a purple head. Come here, sweetie. And they're nicknamed little watermelon birds because of the colors on his chest. So you can see the stripes on his chest. He looks like a watermelon. So they are nicknamed little watermelon birds. They're very beautiful, very active. Come here, sweetie. Goldie's lorikeets are native to New Guinea. They're very hard to find as pets, especially here in Canada. There's only one breeder that I'm aware of, And they only have 2 eggs, and we're lucky if those hatch. So they've only got 2 babies, and they only breed once a year, maybe twice, but usually once, so there's only 2 babies. So they're very, very rare here in Canada. Goldie's lorikeets make wonderful pets. They stay tame throughout their lives, and usually like everyone in the family. Dazzle likes everyone in the family. He has no issues with strangers. Dazzle can say a few words. He can say, "Give me a kiss," and he makes the kiss sound. He says, "Come here," and "Let's go." And he does some whistles, and he mimics my budgies, cockatiels, and lovebird sounds. He can be very territorial, like most lorikeets can be. He's territorial of his cage and of the birds that he likes. He really loves my lovebird, so he's territorial with him. If anyone comes near him, he will be kind of nasty to that bird. So in general, lorikeets can be very territorial of their cage and their people, and if they have a bird friend. Dazzle has a loud, piercing call, and like metallic pings to soft and high-pitched warbles and chattering. I don't find it too loud. It's not really ear-piercing, but you might find it ear-piercing. I'm just so used to hearing all my birds screaming that Dazzle really doesn't bother me. And if you're sensitive, to noises, to ear-piercing, sort of like chalk on a chalkboard, then Goldie's lorikeet's not for you, or any lorikeet, because they kind of all sound the same. But the Goldie's lorikeets are one of the more quieter species. I feed Dazzle a commercial lorikeet diet. It's a dry mixture that is mixed with water. So he gets a wet nectar and he gets a dry nectar. And he also gets water. It's a common myth that lorikeets don't need water. They certainly do need water, especially beside the dry mix, as they will dip their beak into the dry mix and stick it in the water to make their own nectar. So they must always have water, even just to drink it. I feed Dazzle fruits, lots of fruits, such as watermelon. He really loves the watermelon. That's his actually favorite. His next favorite is apple. He loves apples. And then he gets some strawberries, some raspberries, some blueberries, and mango. Well, he likes to dance to the mango. And when I clip it to the side of the cage, he'll dance to the mango before he starts to eat it. And also, I feed Dazzle some flowers. His favorite is dandelion. There's other flowers that they can eat. They can have pansies. Just make sure they don't have any pesticides on them. I either hang a piece of fruit on a clip beside his perch or put some in the bowl. I put some in the bowl, the ones that are kind of harder to hang on a clip, but he likes to go to the bottom of his cage and he'll eat them at the bottom of his cage. And I usually chop them up pretty small, or sometimes I'll mush them up or even put it in a blender, but he prefers them in little pieces of chunks. Lories and lorikeets have a weak gizzard compared to other parrots, and they cannot eat seeds like other parrots. They can eat soft seeds, like seeds that aren't ripe yet, but sometimes they can have a little bit of canary seeds or soft millet or sprouted seeds that are really soft, but it's best to avoid any seed. The lorie's stomach is weakly muscled and is not equipped to easily break down seeds. Lorikeets are really messy birds. Because they eat like a liquid diet, their droppings are like liquid and it can shoot out. You need a big cage, but even if you have a really big cage, their droppings are still going to shoot out on the walls and on the floors. So if you have a lorikeet or are thinking of getting a lorikeet, you got to make sure everything is washable around his cage. I'm going to show you his cage and what I do to save my walls and my floors. So what I do with Dazzle's cage is I have a sheet of plastic that I put around 3 sides. I hook it up with a clip and I have to wash it all the time as well. I hang it all around the 3 sides, all the way down to the ground, because the droppings do drip and everything else. So when he does go to the washroom, it'll just drip down on the floor. And on the floor, I have plastic on the floor as well. It's one of those wooden floor protectors, a chair when you use the chairs for offices, and it's to protect the hardwood floor. I might put that under his cage, and then all the plastic around his cage. And his cage needs to be washed with hot water several times a week, at least once a week, twice a week. You can go once a week. It depends on how messy your bird is. But I stick to his whole cage and wash his whole cage, his toys, his perches, his everything, the whole cage and everything. You have to use really hot water so you can melt the droppings, because sometimes it's like plaster. I use a scrub brush to get the droppings and the food off, as it hardens on really good, and sometimes the water pressure with the hot water doesn't get it off, so I do need to use a scrub brush to scrub, especially the bottom of his cage where the bars are. I have to scrub a lot off. And I use a washcloth to wash the plastic that covers his cage, or I put the plastic in the tub and just blast it away with hot water. I also have to wipe the floors around his cage, so there's a lot of cleaning with owning a lorikeet. So at the bottom of his cage, I put layers of newspaper, and then I put paper towel on top of that, just to catch the droppings. And then I put the grate on top. I don't leave the grate open. I put paper on top of the grate, and then I put more paper towels on top of the paper. That's to absorb the liquid droppings, which makes it easier to clean up, and it just really works well with the paper towel. And this is Dazzle's cage. It's 25 inches wide by 21 inches deep and 29.5 inches high. It's on a stand, and the stand has a shelf down there for storage, for blankets or toys or food. Inside his cage, he has natural wood perches. He has his wet nectar food cup, his dry nectar, and his water bowl, and the paper towel on the bottom to absorb the wet droppings. Dazzle has a swing, a boing, and a few toys that are plastic. Lorikeets are attracted to shiny objects, and the plastic toys are easier to clean. He does have a wooden toy there that he can chew on, but with lorikeets you have to be careful of what you provide them with to chew on, because it might get into their gizzard. Dazzle also has a sleep hut. The sleep hut is actually just made out of smooth material. Like, it's not the material where they can ingest. Like, some of those huts are not good for birds, but this hut is just smooth, flat material, so he can't lick it off or chew it off. And he's had it for years, and he hasn't even touched anything on the sleeping hut. And this is what the bottom of his cage looks like the next day. It gets pretty messy. I'll have to change the paper and the paper towels every day and wipe the bottom of the bars there clean, and the plastic as well. Now, lorikeets love bathing and need bathing because they're always full of food and full of nectar. They're very, they can be sticky on their head and their beaks, their feet. So bathing is a necessity for lorikeets. Always provide a bathing opportunity for your lorikeet. Dazzle loves the bath. He flips upside down. He rolls around like a little puppy. He's so cute. I love watching him bathe. He has his favorite little bathing tub that goes on his cage. He likes that one the most. He doesn't really bathe in the open ones, but he likes this one here. So lorikeets are very, very active, and they need a lot of exercise, as they're high energy birds due to their diet of nectar, like lots of sugar. So they're always on the go. So if you're thinking of getting a lorikeet, they have to come out of their cage. They need a big cage. They need toys. They need lots of room to fly and explore. And this is what Dazzle gets to play on. He gets to play on all these climbing nets and perches and boings. And he has a good time. He runs back and forth. He flies back and forth in the room. And it's good for him. He gets his exercise, and he gets some fun as well. If you are thinking of getting a lorry or a lorikeet, make sure to only feed them foods that are lower in iron. Some of the foods that have a little bit more iron than others are bananas, grapes, broccoli, and some dark greens. and more. Just do your research on the foods to feed your lorikeet, because you don't want them to get the iron storage disease, as too much iron can cause iron storage disease. I don't recommend lories or lorikeets as a first-time pet bird unless you know what you're getting into with all the cleaning and the messiness and the special diet and the energy they have. They are fun and clownish, and they will make you smile and laugh. If you can provide them with a nice home and what they need, then the lory or lorikeet may be for you. Check out my other species spotlight videos on my other birds so you can learn about other species and decide what bird is good for you. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!